NTV AKAWUNGEENZI olwaleero abasuubuzi b'e Nakasero balozezza ku tear gas poliisi webadde yezoba ne bannabyabufuzi omubadde Kanokiza Besije, Erias Lukwago, Mubaraka Munyagwa n'abalala abadde bagenze okulyayo ekyemisana. Mu ngeri y'emu eyo abantu nabo bakanyugidde poliisi amayinja n'ennyaanya envundu. Gano n'amalala gakwatagana ku mugiribani poliisi gwekutte olw'obufere ge tukuleetedde olwaleero naye nga tetunnaga kuba mubujjuvu sooka ate olabe ku birala ebikulu ebigalimu. Tear gas e Nakasero, Besije ne banne bagaaniddwa okwogera eri abantu oluvannyuma lw'ekyemisana. Entiisa ekanyanya, omusajja afumise wa poliisi ekiso ekimuttiddewo. Obufere, omugirimaani akwatiddwa mu Kampala asangiddwa ne layini z'amasimu 50. Empaka za Olympics, Jane Suto yegasse ku balala abayiseemu. Nkwaniriza nate wano ku NTV AKAWUNGEENZI nze Hatima Nalugwa Sekaya, gano ge mawulire gaffe mu bujjuvu. Akatale k'e Nakasero kacyankalanye mu ttuntu lya leero poliisi bwebadde eziyiza bannabyabufuzi okubayo olukuŋŋaana. Bano omubadde Besije, Lukwago ne Munyagwa basoose kulya kyamisana era bwe bakimaze ne baagala okwogerako eri abantu. Kinajjukirwa nti poliisi yavaayo dda n'erabulanga bwetagenda kukkiriza bannabyabufuzi kukuba nkuŋŋaana mu butale kyokka nabo ne balemerako nga bagamba nti ddembe lyabwe. Ebiddiridde ko birabe mu Kawungeezi.
Besije yatuuse Nakasero mu katale ku saa 7 wakati mu ssanyu okuba mu bawagizi be. Abadde wamu ne mmeeya wa Kampala Erias Lukwago, mmeeya w'e Kawempe Mubaraka Munyagwa wamu ne bannabyabufuzi abalala era ng'eno bamutunuddeyo enkoko. Taludde n'atula ku kyemisana. Besije olumaliriza okulya n'afuluma akatale ayogereko eri abantu. Poliisi ebadde ezinzeko akatale kano kwegezaako okumutangira n'okumulaga ekkubo aveewo ng'etya nti ayinza okutabulatabula emirembe. Wano nno wabadde okwanyisiganya ebisongovu. Abapoliisi abalala babadde bamaze okwesoga ekkubo ly'e Nakasero era ng'ebidduka ebirala tebikyakkirizibwa. Bannabyabufuzi bano oluvannyuma batambudde ne batuuka wali mmotoka yaabwe era Lukwago n'atandika okwogera wabula poliisi egezaako okumutangira. Ekivuddemu kibadde kya poliisi kusika waya mu zinalo gw'abadde akozesa sako kusika omusajja ono ku mmotoka ng'onaagambibwa okuba nti y'omu ku bakuumi ba Besije. Kino kiddiridwa tear gas n'eddukaduka. wabula mu mbeera eno abantu badde bakanyugira poliisi amayinja ennyanja sako obutebe era abapoliisi badde mu kaseera kazibu. Oluvannyuma Besigye ne banne bavuze emmotoka yaabwe nga poliisi babawerekerako naye nga kino tekibalobedde kuwuubira ku bantu. Bano bavuze okutuuka ku City Hall mu Kampala gye boogereddeko eri bannamawulire.
N'olwekyo ekiriwo nti mu kaseera kano nga lwe tuzze tubategeeza twasalawo nti tujja kuwagiranga bannaffe abakolera emirimu eyo wansi mu buzibu. Emmere gye tunaagiryanga tetujja kugirya mu bana abazungu. Abazungu baliise bazungu bannaabwe, naffe tuli eri abantu baffe abazenga batuwagira nga tulwana ffenna.
They opted to have a rally in the middle of a market, a place which is so congested and busy, something which was really unreasonable. Our officers reached them to advise them against it, and in the process it was discovered that they actually had a number of Kanyamas who started pouncing on our officers.
Bannabufuzi bano kati bagufudde musono okulya mu butale nga bategeeza nga bagenda okwogira abantu baabwe, wabula poliisi egamba nti kino kiyinza okuvaako obujagalalo mu Kampala.
Ebyo bibadde Kampala wakati mu katale e Nakasero. Omusirikale wa poliisi omulala attiddwa mu bukambwe mu kiro ekikeesezza olwaleero. Ettemu lino libadde Kanyanya ku luguudo oludda e Gayaza. Ono okuttibwa abadde agenze ku mulimu ogubadde ogw'okukwata omu ku bamenyi b'amateeka mu kitundu kino.
Adone Simon Peter abadde omusirikale w'e Kanyanya kati zembuyage ezikaze engoye oluvannyuma lw'okufumitibwa ebiso ebimujje mu budde mu matulutulu ga leero. Omuvubuka amanyiddwa nga Dennis Sebaddanu agambibwa okuba nga ye yafumisa omusirikale n'ebiso nga kino kyaddiridde okulwanagana okwabaddewo bwe yabadde akwatibwa okutwalibwa ku poliisi abeeko emisango egimuvunaanibwa.
Eyabadde alopeddwa ku poliisi nti yeetabye mu kubba naye olukonkonye ku luggi lwe ku ssaawa 12 olufulumyeyo avuddeyo n'ekiso n'akuba omusirikale abadde ku luggi ekiso ekimutiddewo.
Ate ng'omuvubuka mukozi wa bikolobero edda badde bamunoonya kati bwe bamunoonyeza okufuluma omuvubuka nasanga wa security wabweru kiyamukoze okulwanisa n'amusala akaso ku mutima n'afiirawo.
Omukyala era ategeezezza nti munne wa Adoni yafunye ebisago n'addusibwa mu ddwaliro e Mulago jjanjanjabibwa. Ye Dennis yasobodde okwemululula n'adduka nga kati poliisi yatandise dde okumuyigga era bw'anaakwatibwa waakugulwako omusango gw'obutemu.
Poliisi mu Kampala eriko abafere 5 nga kuliko n'omugirimaani beekutte n'eggalira ng'ebalanga kunyaganga bannakampala nga beerimbika mu kutunda amayinja ag'omuwendo. Poliisi etegeezezza nti omugirimaani ono ebadde erudde ng'emunoonya ku misango gy'egimu gino egy'obufere.
Kigambibwa nti ekibinja ky'abafere bano nga kikulembeddwamu omugirimaani Batchman Manfred Water kimaze ebbanga nga kitigomya bannakampala mu ngeri ey'okwerimbika mu kutunda amayinja ag'omuwendo. Bano era babadde ne laptop gye babadde bakozesanga mu kwekebejja ebyobugagga bino okusobola okuzuulira ddala nti si bikipule.
Bano gurupu eno bamulaga nti balina minerals ze batunda ne bateesa naye ssente zagenda okugula ne bafuna n'omuntu waabwe atestinga n'abalaga nti kituufu minerals ntuufu. N'ono omuzungu n'akkiriza nti ya mwetegefu ozigula alina ssente weziri. Oluvannyuma oba omaze obbawa ssente zo ng'oguza ebintu bino then bw'obitwala omuzungu n'abigaana n'agamba bifu.
Abafere bano okukwatibwa kiddiridde okulimbalimba omusajja omu ne bamubbako ssente z'obukadde 82 n'agenda alopa ku poliisi ebanoonyezza okutuuka lwe baguddeko.
Twabakutte oluvannyuma lw'okubba omwami omu gwe babbye ssente ze eziwera ddala obukadde 82 nga beetebeeka bagamba nti bamuguza Tanzanite. N'oluvannyuma okugamba nti ng'amaze okubigula bino ne bamugamba nti ate bifu ng'ate omuzungu ye omwe yamusikiriza okugula yeekubira endulu ku poliisi. Mu gundi zaffe mu kunoonyereza kwaffe ne tuzuula nga waliwo abalala abali in touch, bwe twabakozesa ne tuzuula nga nabo baali bagala kubabba.
Era nga bakwatiddwa, poliisi ewaliriziddwa okwaza amaka g'omujamani ono agasangibwa ebbunga mwesanze passport 5, layini z'amasimu ezamuno n'emitala w'amayanja ezinkunukkiriza mu 5 ko n'amasimu 10 nga gonna gakola bulungi. Poliisi egamba nti ebadde gyefuna okwemulugunya okw'enjawulo ku muzungu afera abantu. Bano kati bakusimbibwa mu mbuga z'amateeka bawere ennembe n'omusango gw'okufuna ssente mu lukujjukujju. Pauline Nantege, NTV Akawungeezi.
Omukulembeze wa Uganda Yoweri Kaguta Museveni atenderezza nnyo omugenzi Cuthbert Obwangor ng'ono abadde munnabyabufuzi era nga yaliko minisita w'ebyamateeka ku mulembe gwa Obote gwagambye nti yali mwesimbu. Omugenzi yafiira mu maka ge e Magoro mu disitulikiti y'e Katakwi ku nkomerero ya Sabbiiti ewedde. Pulezidenti Museveni y'omu ku babadde ku Paalamenti olwaleero okungubagira omugenzi era gavumenti yeeyamye okukola ku by'okumuziika byonna. Ono wakuziikibwa ku Lwokusatu e Katakwi.
He was a very principled man. First of all, I think he worked in Teso in the local administration. Then one time they were in Parliament here. He was a minister. He said something which Obote did not like. And then Obote shouted, "Why don't you cross the floor and go on the other side?" And then he crossed the floor. There and then. And he remained on the opposition until overthrew the constitution.
Ekyo nno kikyali kituuza era NTV Akawungezi egenda kuwumulamu katono ddala oluvannyuma tugenda kudda n'ekitundu ekyokubiri nga mulimu amawulire amalala mangi omuli ne gano.
Olugero lwa leero lukutuusibwako
atunda omutwe amala kunyiga ku gugwe. Omutwe gusingamu magumba. Agutunda kyava tasaana kuguseera muguzi. Olugero lukwata ne ku bitundibwa ebirala byonna. Omutunzi yenna asaana atunda ekintu ng'ensimbi azigeraageranya n'omugaso gwakyo oba n'obulungi bwakyo.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
Ochali ku NTV akawungezi kino kye kitundu kyaffe ekyokubiri. Abagoba ba taxi mu parking kadene ku Cooper Complex batuta abawoza ba KCCA entyaji nga bano babadde bakedde kugumba mbifo bino okusoloza ensimbi za taxi zibalina okuwa. Aba taxi bawakanyiza ekyokusasula ensimbi zino nga bagamba nti batwala dda omusango mu kooti nga n'olwekyo KCCA esaana erindeko omusango gwabwe gugwe. KCCA eganye okubaako kyeyogera ku nsonga zino.
Bano bamu ku bagoba ba taxi abakedde okuwalabula abawoza b'omusolo okuva mu KCCA abadde bazze okuwoza omusolo mu taxi park enkadde. Abawoza bakedde kusiba olujegere ku mulyango ogufuluma park eno okuziyiza mmotoka okufuluma nga tennasasula. Kino wabula tekiisiza bulungi abamu ku bagoba ba taxi era bwe batubasazeewo okubalumba nga baagala baamuka ekifo kino. Bakira babakaza nga bababuuza ani abasindisa okusoloza ensimbi ate ng'ensonga eno eri mu kooti.
Mukama we yasoma amateeka. Bw'aba yali receiving ekintu kino nga kirimu an order of social, an order of prohibition and injunction nga yabisomye bino era n'ateekako ne stamp. Kitegeeza olwaleero tannakusindika tugozze ku lulwo.
Bino byonna bibadde bigenda mu maaso nga bapoliisi abatonotono abadde bayiriddwa mu kifo kino batemya. Wano ku paaka ya Cooper Complex abasirikale n'abawoza basindikiriziddwa abagoba ba taxi baayo nawo nga babadde tebasalwako musale.
Gagenda ogambe musisi nti baddereeva bangobye ku mulyango. Emisango mugiri mu koodi kisoke giggwe. Ffe tukugambye gwe vaawo oddeyo eriwa mu ofiisi tetulina buzibu. Ffe kye twagala kyokka.
Kitwewuunyisa nti mukyala musisi twamusaavinga ng'ennaku z'omwezi 17 leero ng'ennaku z'omwezi 21 ate ye akedde kujja kuggala paaka akomezaawo emmundu ku makubo zi road block okweziri akwata emmotoka z'abantu.
Abagoba ba taxi abeegattira mu kibiina kya Ddaka ku ntandikwa y'omwezi guno beekubira endulu mu kooti nga baagala kooti eyimirize omusolo ogubasolozebwako KCCA era ng'omusango gwakutandika okuwulirizibwa omwezi ogujja. Tugezezzaako okufuna abakulu mu KCCA okunnyonnyola ku nsonga eno naye tekisobose kubanga tebabadde mu ofiisi.
Naye tuvudde wala tukyagenda
Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
Mu buufu bwe bumu obwo tutegezeddwa nti Mustafa Mayambala akulira ekibiina kya Ddaka olwaleero wakusula luzira. Okusinziira ku banne ba Mayambala aleeteddwa ku kkooti ya KCCA kyokka olw'okuba obudde bubadde buyise bw'ati asindikiddwa luzira okutuusa olunaku olw'enkya. Kigambibwa nti ensonga z'ono zikwatagana n'ebya taxi.
Bakutte dereva munaffe, dereva bamukutte tumuwondedde ku KCCA bennyini ne batugamba poliisi yemukutte, aba KCCA ne bamujja ku poliisi ne batuyita nze ne mukulu Mayambala ne bannanga abatono nti mujje dereva wamwe tumubawe ensonga eno si yakusiba bantu wazira twetaaga mufune mu briefing namwe mutunnyonnyola biki bye mwagala KCCA ebyo bye bakolera bwe tutuuseeyo dereva bamutuwadde tugenze ofuluma tugende tu receiving cards zaffe twazirese ku reception tutuuseewo nga Mayambala bamukutte bukwasi nga bamugamba gwe tugende mu kooti tugenze okuleeta lawyer omulamuzi olubadde okuyingira mu chambers n'abuuza Mayambala nti oyina abakweyimirira ko Mayambala n'amugamba weebali bali oluyimusa aba n'abuuza abamuyimirira baliwo ne bayimuka oluyimuse n'agamba niyerowoozaamu n'agamba nti tekyetaagisa genda eruzira naye olunaku lw'enkya Mayambala nga tebamutadde Government tetunenya n'abe byokwerinda ki ekinaddirira tebanenya ffe.
Ebya Mayambala nga tubitadde ebbali poliisi Emitiyana eriko omusajja gwekutte ng'onalangibwa gwakutta mutuuze ku kyalo Kyambogo ekisangibwa mu ggombolola ey'Ekikandwa Emitiyana. Joseph Mukasa eyakazibwako eri akabalulo mbu olw'okutega abantu n'abakuba obutayimbwa agambibwa okubanga yatta Kamada Kikanga eyali ssentebe w'ekyalo ekyo.
This one here is a runner. Twakuta omusajja wano yatta munne waita Joseph Mukasa naye ng'eringinemu ye kabalulu era erya kabalulu eryajja bwatu akuba abantu yeyita kabalulu yajja kubalula bwatuuka mu kifo bunongera nja kubalula kumutuma kabalulu naye ng'amanya g'amatuufu ye Joseph Mukasa. Yali alwana n'omuntu omulala kati oli yajja okutaasa anamukuyadda kati namukuba namutta yali azze okubataasa nga balwana so bwe batuyita poliisi ogenda okubataasa nga bamugjayo bamutwala mu ddwaliro n'afiira ku maloka katanatuuka mu ddwaliro era kati okubuliza kwonna kwawedde basigadde kutwala mu kkooti.
Ekitongole ekivunaanyizibwa ku by'ettaka mu bitundu bya Kampala, Kampala District Land Board, kitegeezezza nga bwe kiriko ploti 15 namba zekiganya aba KCCA abakulirwa Jennifer Musisi okugezaako okutunda. Akulira ekitongole kino Yusuf Nsibambi agamba nti liizi za ploti zino zikyaliko nga n'olwekyo okuzitunda kuba kumenya mateeka. Yusuf alangidde ne nankulu wa KCCA okuyingiriranga emirimu gy'ekitongole kino. Ekitongole kyekimu kino era kitegeezezza nga bwe kigenda okuwaayo akatale ka wino eri abasuubuzi abakokoleramu ku bwereere era nga KCCA eragiddwa okuddiza abasuubuzi bano ensimbi eziri mu buwumbi 5 ezibadde zaabagibwako.
Ekitongole kino kigamba nti nankulu wa KCCA Jennifer Musisi yakiweereza olukalala okuli poloti eziwera 15 mu kibuga ziweebwa abagagga kyokka nga liizi z'abazikolerako zikyaliko. Poloti zino zeziganiddwa okuweebwayo akakiiko k'ettaka. Ssentebe w'akakiiko k'ettaka mu Kampala Yusuf Nsibambi agambye nti akakiiko ke kalina obuvunaanyizibwa ku ttaka eriri mu kibuga era nga KCCA terina buyinza kusengula abantu naddala nga tebasasuddwa.
Bannaffe abajja okufuga ekibuga ekyo balaba tukola kikyamu era bagezaako okutunyigiriza tutwale ettaka ly'abantu. Mulimu n'abalaba nakigwanyiza abaagala okutwala ettaka nga mulimu ne member wa parliament omu n'abalala abakulu mu government balete ploti 15 listing bawadde mu Kampala wano nga baagala tuziwe abantu abalala ne tugaana. Ploti ezo bwe kyatugaana okuziwa abantu embiranye ennene nnyo neegwawo. Tuli mu mbeera nzibu.
Nsibambi era agambye nti waliwo ebizimbe ebirala ebiwerera ddala 20,000 mu kibuga nga nabyo baagala biweebweyo eri bannakigwanyiza ababyetaaga.
There's a case also in Point where they have gone out to identify about 2,000 properties. Kampala Road, there's Damaniko, there's that building near between the Centenary Bank new headquarters and Standard Chartered Bank.
Ensonga endala eyongedde okugumya abantu emitima ke kakiiko kano okugaana KCCA okutwala obuyinza bw'okusaba abasuubuzi b'owino ensimbi ez'okusobola okubawa liizi. Akakiiko kalagidde KCCA eddize abasuubuzi bano obuwumbi 8.5 ze baabawa bazikozesa okuzimba akatale kano.
Whether kinategeeza nze ku resigninga nja ku resigninga sijja kuwa kyapa ky'owino KCCA nga mukyala Musisa agambye nti tagenda kuwa abasuubuzi baliwo ku ground kyapa. Basse muno okumanya lwaki owino yabeerwawo. History y'obutale mu Kampala yaliwo kulaba abantu abanaku ba civil servants ngaffe abakola bakyala baffe nga oba abaami baffe tebasobola kukola mirimu minene ne babaako balina kwe bakola to supplement ku family income.
Akakiiko kano era kaganya okusengula abasuubuzi abakolera mu katale k'okukaleedwe nga tebannaba kusasula bantu baliko. Tugenze ku kitebe kya KCCA okwogerako n'ennankulu ku nsonga zino kyokka ne batwebalama nga bagamba nti tebasobola kuzoogerako kati. Dini Lubowa Sava, NTV Akawungeezi.
Webale nnyo Dini Lubowa Sava n'egguliro eryo kati ate tugenda kutunulako mu katale k'ensimbi tulaba ate siringi ya Uganda nga bwekola okusinziira ku ssente z'amawanga amalala. Mutsonyiweko katono ebyuma bitaataganyemu ne tutasobola batuusaako katale kansimbi. Nabwe kityo tugenda kuddamu tuwumulemu katono ate oluvannyuma NTV Akawungeezi ekomewo n'agava mu kisaawe ky'ebyemizannyo tovaawo.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
NTV Akawungeezi n'amawulire agava mu kisaawe ky'ebyemizannyo. Omuddusi wa marathon James Suto yegasse ku banne abalala abamaledde okuyitamu okwesoga empaka za Olympics ezigenda okubeera mu kibuga London okutandika n'omwezi ogw'omusanvu. Suto yayitiddemu mu ggwanga lya Latvia gy'amalidde mu kifo ekyokusatu mu mpaka ez'okwetooloola ebyalo eziwezezza kilomita 42. Suto kati ye muddusi wa Uganda owe-12 abagenda okwetaba mu mpaka za Olympics. Empaka Suto ze yeetabyemu zaawanguddwa omu Russia Alexandra n'addirirwa mu Kenya Mariam Wangali. Omuddusi ono wakudda wano mu ggwanga olunaku olw'enkya atandika okwetegekera eza Harad Source of the Nile Marathon ezigenda okubeera ejjinja ku nkomerero y'omwezi guno. Abazanyi mukaaga abazanyira mu kirabu ez'enjawulo mu ligi y'eggwanga olunaku olwaleero bagabuddwa ebirabo ebibasiima olw'ebitone bye baayolesa mu myezi egy'enjawulo okutandika n'omwezi gw'ekkumi omwaka ogwedde. Ebirabo bino bye bakwasiddwa aba kampuni ya Bell ku mukono ogubadde ku wooteeri ya Sheraton wano mu Kampala.
Abazanyi Emmanuel Lukungu owa Masaka Local Council, Wile Kavuma owa Express, George Abege wa Malunzi, Kizito Luwaga wa Bunnamwaya, Stephen Bengo ne Moses Ndawula aba Sports Club Villa ne baweereddwa ebirabo olwa talanta ze baayolesa mu ligi y'eggwanga mu myezi egy'enjawulo. Lukungu ye yasinga banne okusamba omupiira mu mwezi gw'ekkumi omwaka oguwedde, Kavuma n'abasinga mu Desemba, Abege n'abasinga mu January, ne Kizito n'abasinga mu mwezi gw'okubiri. Stephen Mbengo yatutte eky'omwezi gw'okusatu ate wavira munne Moses Ndawula n'atwala eky'ogwokuna.
Zamamanyi kuba kitegeeza nti no abantu babeera bakufaako era baagala ki ky'obeera okola. Nze kyensinga okwagala mu mupiira bantu ku appreciatinga ki kyenkola. Sikuba nze sikola muno lwakuba njagala bintu bingi nnyo naye just omuntu oku appreciatinga ki ky'oba okola n'okuyamba ttiimu yange gye mba ndimu especially nga ttiimu yange gye ndimu kyekiba bye bintu ebisinga okunsanyusa.
Abamu ku bazannyi bano era bali ku lukalala lwabo abasuubirwa okuwangula ebirabo eby'abazannyi ab'omwaka ebinaagabibwa aba Bell omwezi ogujja. Sam Mpoza, NTV Akawungeezi.
Ago ge gabadde amawulire ag'ebyemizannyo era bwe gatyo gakomekereza NTV Akawungeezi. Entebereza y'obudde mugirinde mu mawulire ag'essaawa 3. Ndi Hatima Nalugwa Sekaya, tusinkana olunaku olw'enkya, musule bulungi, mweraba.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Showcase Uganda, we visit Bunyonyi, the lake of many birds, and also experience Lake Mburo's diverse wildlife. We start our journey at the Kabale Road junction, branching off to Bunyonyi. This route is a winding marram road which offers great scenery. You can take brief stops now and again to admire the captivating views which are typical of the landscape in this part of the country. All too soon, you will come upon one of the most beautiful sights you've ever beheld, Lake Bunyonyi. Lake Bunyonyi, which literally means place of many little birds, is located in southwestern Uganda and is 6 kilometers above the town of Kabale.
It is 25 by 7 kilometers and with depths ranging from 45 to 900 meters in different places. This makes it the deepest crater lake in Uganda and the second deepest in Africa. It shares its shores with Apparently, the lake was created as a result of a volcanic eruption, which blocked a river's flow to create an enchanting sight of a narrow body of water, interspersed with tiny islands and surrounded by picturesque green hills.
It has 29 islands which have different stories to tell, which adds to the fascination and mystery surrounding the lake. The best way to connect with all the intrigue surrounding Lake Bunyonyi is to go for a ride aboard one of the motorized boats, which can be hired from the jetty at Rutinda. You could also experience the ride in a dugout canoe. The ride on a lake is an encounter with captivating scenery. The local Bachiga have cut down the woods on the surrounding verdant hills to make room for their fields, which has resulted into neat terraces with pretty mosaic patterns created by the women's digging. Very soon, we come upon the islands and we are astounded by the small size of the Punishment Island. According to tradition, the Bachiga were very concerned about girls keeping their virginity until marriage. If a girl made the mistake of getting pregnant outside wedlock, she was banished to the tiny Akampene or Punishment Island to die of hunger. She could only be saved if some man without enough cows to pay bride price decided to get a free wife from Akampene. Bwama is the biggest of the islands and also has its own sad story. It used to host a leprosy treatment center established in the 1920s by a missionary doctor, Leonard Sharp. The center had replaced the only major island village to create an isolated environment for thousands of patients from East and Central Africa. Happily, the center was closed down in the 1980s as a drug for leprosy became available. It is now housing education facilities. Bushara is has a circular bird watching trail. Other islands host a wide variety of tourist accommodation, ranging from resorts to campsites to meet all budgets and different needs, including a satellite TV receiver. We soon caught up with some members of the endangered Batwa community who live in the vicinity and had come down on their market day at Kievu. The Batwa are the only tribe of pygmies in Uganda. This unique tribe were originally hunters, but this culture has had to change because the original homeland, the forests, have been turned into a reserve to protect the endangered mountain gorillas. The their new environment. Lake Bunyonyi, as its name suggests, is a bird lover's haven. You can take a ride while watching spectacular bird life in the surrounding forest swamps and the water's edge. The bird life here is prolific, over 200 species recorded, with Uganda's national bird, the crested crane, a common sighting. In spite of the different campsites which have developed in the vicinity, the lake has remained a haven of peace, ideal for visitors to commune with nature and enjoy the scenery. The lake is reputedly free of bilharzia and is an ideal place to swim, canoe and relax. It makes a popular day trip from Kabale, which would take either 45 minutes to 1 hour on foot, 25 minutes by bicycle, or 15 minutes by car. We leave Bunyonyi completely refreshed and rejuvenated. For those of you who would like a quick souvenir of Lake Bunyonyi, just get yourself a and you will find an artistic impression of Bunyonyi printed on it. When Showcase returns, travel with us through the fascinating wilds of Lake Mburo National Park. After traveling for about 3 hours along the Mbarara Masaka Road, you will find yourself at Sanga Trading Center. Kilometers later, driving along a bumpy road, you come face to face with the Sanga Gate of Lake Mburo National Park. The park can also be accessed from Nshara Trading Center through the Nshara Gate. The smallest of all Uganda's savanna national parks, Lake Mburo, is only kilometers. Its wooded and open savanna forests, rocky outcrops, bushes, thickets and rich wetlands are home to a surprising diversity of plants and animals. Gazetted in 1982, the park benefits from a good working relationship with the local Bahima community, who have realized that the park is an This is because a percentage of the park's income goes to supporting community development projects such as schools and clinics. The Bahima are mainly a pastoral community owning large herds of long-horned cattle, which you will sometimes find grazing within the park's grounds, side by side with the zebras and impala. They have taken to farming though, and own large plantations of matoke, which is a staple food for many of the communities in central and western Uganda. As you travel from the gate to the park headquarters, overwhelmed by the variety of interests and color. Our explorations will entail following a number of different tracks, which will give us an experience of the park's diverse wildlife, more prolific in the morning.
Our progress down the impala track brought us face to face with small herds of impala, with the occasional warthog wandering in the background.
Impala belong to the family of antelopes and in Uganda can only be found in Lake Mburo National Park, where they feed on young shoots during the wet season and herbs and shrubs during the dry season. Though they're very similar to cobs, they are differentiated by the black strip, which runs along the middle of the lower back to the tail. The male impala are territorial animals and fiercely guard their territory. They are very easily differentiated from the females by their horns. Female impala do not possess horns. A herd is usually made up of one dominant male and a number of females and fawns. Occasionally, you will catch sight of a lone male impala which keeps close to the herd and waits for an opportunity when the dominant male is preoccupied to mate with any of the females. In East Africa, young are born all year round, but birth peaks usually coincide with the rains. The fawns are suckled for 4 to 6 months and grow rapidly, reaching maturity at a little over a year. The young males, however, are evicted from their mothers' groups when they are 6 months old, staying around the edges of the herd until they join a bachelor group. During this transition period, they are very vulnerable to predators. The young males will not be mature enough to hold a territory until they are 5 to 6 years old. Going down the zebra track, the route takes us towards a wide valley with scattered clumps of trees. Here, we behold small herds of zebra grazing in the grassland. Unlike the antelopes, zebras are social animals and live in harems. The zebras belong to the horse family, with each zebra having its own unique pattern of stripes, just like fingerprints. Zebras sleep while standing with necks placed against each other's backs, except for the very young ones. When the group is alarmed, it takes to flight with the first 5 dominant females or mares in the front and the stallions covering the rear. During the mating season, the stallions will fiercely attack each other to gain superiority, therefore winning the mate. Zebras have a gestation period longer than that of human beings. It takes a whole 12 months to pop a baby zebra. The lifespan for a zebra on average is 20 years. Apparently, while crossing a road or a track, zebras do not stop to make way for vehicles. It's the vehicles which have to stop and wait for the whole troop of zebras to cross before proceeding. This explains the popular term, zebra crossing, used on our roads. As we move further through the rich acacia woodland, characteristic of the national park, we come upon another type of antelope, the waterbuck. These are easily recognized by a distinctive white band on the rump and the long bow-shaped horns of the male. Like the impala, the waterbuck females do not have horns. A herd usually has one dominant male with 7 or so females, while the bachelor's herd is a training ground for the bucks to perfect their skills in order to go and fight the dominant male and take over the herd of females. Although they're called waterbucks, they don't actually like swimming. They live in savanna, woodland, and stony hills, but always near water points, as they like to drink water regularly. Our next encounter is with the tortoise, another of the antelope species, perched upon a termite hill, a position the animal always takes whenever it's alarmed. The vantage point of a raised ground supposedly helps it to pinpoint the source of the danger before it takes to flight. Both the male and female topi are ringed. The horns of the male are curved and point backwards, while the female's horns open upwards. This particular antelope travels at a speed of 45 kilometers per hour and runs in a zigzag formation to throw its enemies off target. They have the reputation of being the fastest of all antelopes. With a heightened sense of excitement, we made our way to the last stop on this trail, the Salt Lick. A meeting ground where animals congregate to lick the salty soil, and the Mburo, how the lake got its name. All that and more when Showcase returns. Feeling very pleased with our morning drive, we make our way to the shores of Lake Mburo to see what the lake, from which the park got its name, has in store for us. But first, we make a detour to the Salt Lick, a spectacular sight. The first thing you'll notice is the change in the landscape wrought by the activity of the animals. The deep grooves and caves which have been made are a clear evidence of the popularity of this place, which actually adds vitamin mineral salts to the animals' diet. Permanent trails have been established, and these are regularly followed by all the animals as they make their way to this crucial point. Some animals have actually taken big chunks out of the salty mass. Along the way to Lake Mburo, which is our next destination, we took time off to look at some baboons and monkeys which happened to lounge just by the lakeside.
We continue to Lake Mburo.
According to popular folklore, two brothers, Kigarama and Mburo, lived in a large, beautiful and fertile valley. One night, Kigarama dreamt that their lives were in danger. He advised Mburo that they should move, but Mburo was adamant. Kigarama decided to take caution and wisely moved up into the hills. not long after, the valley flooded, drowning Mburo and his family with all his belongings. Today, the lake is named after him. The presence of this lake in the park is a blessing. It is rich with a diversity of animal and plant life. These include the hippopotami, which live in a herd of up to 60 with one dominant. The common hippopotamus is the second largest living land animal, second to the elephant. Its body weight is 100 kilograms. Its name means river horse, and it spends most of its time in the water and can stay submerged up to 6 minutes. Mating takes place in water due to the hippo's large weight. Suckling of young is done on both land and water. A hippo spends most of its day basking on a sandbar or lazing in the water with just its ears, eyes and nostrils, and perhaps its back and top of the head exposed. It is a nocturnal animal and feeds mostly at night, coming on the land to eat mainly grass. It has a gestation period of 1.5 years, slightly less than an elephant, which takes close to 2 years. Hippos on average have a lifespan of 30 years. After a satisfactory tour, we retraced our steps, passing via the cottages at Ronyo Park headquarters, where you can stay on a visit to the park. Lake Mburo is truly worth a visit, especially since it is the nearest to Kampala of all Uganda's national parks.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
So, when you see me on your screen, this is what you need to expect. Cons. The city is full of con men and cons. We're giving them back to you. I'm telling you, this is Tricksters. Last week on Tricksters, kidnap or conflict, which was it? A student had a ride for more than he had bargained. And too lazy to walk, a motorist's money went with the wind. Tonight on Tricksters, Edwin and Felix try out their skills in a city suburb. Coming up on the show, Edwin and Felix get into the hardware business.
I hope we'll get everything at a good price.
Certainly. Get out the distance.
And a lady tries to shop with dire results.
Madam, leka nkwatireko.
Bonabula nebintu byange.
Madam, leka nkwatireko ba.
Now, most successful people will tell you that they've managed to get where they are through hard work and determination. Now, most con men will also tell you that they've managed to get where they are and it hasn't been easy. Whatever the time of day, the city streets are swarming with people going about their business. The traffic on the streets is so tight, for a moment you can wonder where all these people could be going. It's business as usual. For conmen, this is a rich field ready for the picking. But when the city streets fail, some conmen try their luck elsewhere. Edwin and Felix have located a suitable suburban hardware shop to stage a daring con.
Paint. Weather guard. Hello. Hello. Well stocked. Well stocked. Oh. Sir, how are you, sir?
Fine.
So we have come to buy building material. Hey. You see, we are renovating our hotel and restaurant in Muyenga.
Renovating? You'll find everything that you need here.
Okay.
Everything, sir.
You have padlocks. You have padlocks. This is the right place.
He has even rollers. I hope we'll get everything at a good price.
Certainly.
Get out the list and give him. You see, we are having a hotel business in Jinja. Yeah, but business in Jinja is not so good. So we have decided to close it down and concentrate on the one in Kampala. Yes, we are doing business.
You see, business in Kampala is good.
Yeah, it is good.
So, what can I help you with?
We want 11 jerrycans of paint.
11 jerrycans?
Yeah, 11.
Or take them to weather guard.
Yeah, we need weather guard a lot.
11 jerrycans.
Water pipe. 8
meters. 80.
8. Sandpaper.
Sandpaper.
2 rolls, 80 and 60.
Okay.
Ne wire mesh.
Okay.
Apati ne Simon mubatikire ko
muyambeko balabala mugatta mutulabe.
Milioni emu na mitwala bibi. Zoka seven.
You are cheap. You are cheap. Now, Auntie Nagambi, I was from Jinja. And now the money we have is not enough. Yeah, and if you can give us your assistant, then we go with him to town and we give him all your money. Yeah. Yes, I have money.
And you put everything on the car.
Yeah, what is
you
the
put all the
problem?
materials on the car.
What is the problem with that Auntie Nagambi? Ntitubadde Jinja. Kakati nga sente tezimala. Kakati jangu tugenda omwana, we give him all your money. All kitwala nti ate simanyi je olwataano tufiseeko ate tudoyidoyo yone.
Edwin is on tenterhooks. This is the crucial moment. Will he bite?
Okay. It's 1,200,000.
Yeah, 1.2.
You are cheap. No?
Okay. Okay. It's nice doing business with you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we shall continue doing business with you.
Thank you.
Okay? Omwana katuzimuwe sente.
Thank you.
Well, mugire mutekaka bintu.
Simon aliwa. Simon jangu gende n'abaami bano.
Simon yachintu.
Simoni. Joge n'abaami bano. Yangu wako. Yangu gende n'abaami bano. Odo okola ki? Yangu gende n'abaami abo. Bakuwe sente.
Have a seat here. Have a seat. Okay. Now, I'm going to go and talk to the cashier to get your money. It is 1.2 million. Yeah, 1.2 million. And meanwhile, he'll give you soda as you are waiting. Okay? Hello. You have a soda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Get me a soda, please.
Which soda can I get?
Fanta. Yeah, Fanta.
No, feel at home. Tula ulungi terera. Wano na wafi. Olaba. Tuguze paint yo twagala kusiga nona this restaurant. Yaffe twagala kusiga tojiraba. Twagala kusiga wona. Tuna ne hotel gagaddi miyenga je twagala kusiga. That is the reason why we have bought all those jerry cans of paint.
You see, the other guy there is our brother.
Yeah.
But he's sick. And we are moving around town to bintu bingi nnyo bye tugula.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so bambi tubadde tusaba he rests here a bit. Yes, as we are purchasing, then we shall come back and pick him.
All right, sir.
Okay? Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
Kakati nkakweka soda oterera.
As time passes, Simon begins to panic. Why is counting the money taking so long?
Why?
Wanje?
Banani for benazina obalazewa.
Banani nicho?
Abasajja babe benazina bo.
Oh, ogamba baganda bo. Bafulumye ne bagenda
bakule. Si baganda ba.
Nese be banani nfo naffe tetubamanyi.
Oh my God.
Chichi.
Bazibi basazi sente zange. Zibadde nyingi na nyonya babuyambe.
Banange bafulumye ne bagenda bayisaawo. Tuko yinza basanga. Obambi.
No sign of the men. No money. Simon's only option, 10 long kilometers back to the shop. Where is Simon? What's going on?
Simon kulikayo bakwade sente
Good news. So, once again, the conmen have pulled off their scam. They already had the upper hand before they even approached the hardware shop. The advantage was, Simon did not know that the restaurant had 2 entrances. And so, he waited patiently while the crooks had already flown.
What I tell you, it took a lot of effort to get the paint into the car. It also took a lot of effort to get the hardware store manager into the restaurant. It took a lot of effort to get the cashier duped. Whew. And it took a lot of effort to get away. I'm telling you, conning isn't easy. Now, as you can tell, I'm in a marketplace. This next con, I'm told, happens a lot in places like these. I think I'm even... Quick feet and a quick mind make the worst conman. See how it works. Look at this.
The constant noise is ear-shattering. The porters scream at the top of their voices as they haul their luggage around, almost knocking you off your feet. And you can get pulled at from all sides as vendors try to capture your attention. So some people restrict this experience to once a week and try to get out of the market as fast as possible. As Florence approached the marketplace, she had the perfect plan to carry out this chore successfully. Or was it?
Madam, leka nkwatireko.
Bwona obula n'ebintu byange.
Edda madam, leka nkwatireko bambi. Madam, nze bampita Andrew. I am very strong and hardworking. Bano bonna abantu bammanyi wano. Edda madam, you will know me. Leka nkwatireko bambi. You know madam, I am an orphan. I go to school during the evening and during the day. I am here looking for my school fees. Let me help you, man. God will bless you if you help an orphan like me.
Okay, Andrew.
Florence has her strategy worked out.
Madam, let us
Okay, you can put it here.
Yeah.
Let me open the boot. Hey, okay. Ndi wano. Waliwo akayimba k'emtyeno ojja kalaba. Wangu. Kulinze. Bye.
Bannange, ono mwana alazeewa. Oh my God, katute ebintu byange bakatikalirira wa.
There's truth. Best laid plans sometimes go wrong.
Ndabiteko kana kaina wana ebintu.
Ha, akaana? Nga sikalabye. Kakubye.
Kanzibe kagenze n'ebintu byange.
Sorry, Bambi. You know many of these urchins are just bayaye. Instead of doing honest work, they just rob people. Oh, love you, Mnambi.
Today I will know him. Now I know him. But poor little orphan.
To avert this problem, some shoppers actually ask the market vendors to identify a porter for them, and you can also get yourself a regular one.
Right, so after watching that, I can only come up with one saying: the bigger the load, the more the trouble. If you want more cons, this is what you simply need to do. Don't miss out next time. Now, if you've ever been conned before, let us know about it. Send us an email to tricksters@ntvuganda.co.ug and let us know, how were you conned? Catch me next time. Ciao.
This is NTV.
The impala is a medium-sized graceful antelope found in southern Africa to the northern limit. In Uganda, they can only be found in Lake Mburo National Park. With its reddish-brown body, the impala is very similar to the kobe, but are differentiated by the black strip which runs along the middle of the lower back to the tail. Their slender lioness-shaped horns are found only in males. The impala weighs up to 80 kilograms with a shoulder height of 75 to 95 centimeters or 2.5 to 3.5 feet. Unlike other antelopes, impalas have large brush-like tufts of long coarse black hair that cover a scent gland located just above the heel on each hind leg. Its remarkable leaps are the most well-known feature of the impala's movement. Impalas inhabit grassland and woodland edges, usually very close by water. They feed on young shoots during the wet season and herbs and shrubs during the dry season and drink daily. The male impala are very territorial animals and fiercely guard their territory from challenging males through horn duels. They stand with erect posture, grab scent from face glands and make dung heaps to mark their territory. The females form herds of up to 50 or more and male territories. If they start to leave the territory, the male tries to herd them back into the center. Bachelor males are allowed to remain in the male territories by the dominant male only if they ignore the females. But occasionally you will catch sight of one lone male impala which keeps close to the female herd and waits for an opportunity when the dominant male is preoccupied to mate with any of the females. The female impala reaches sexual maturity at 1 year and the male at 1.5. Gestation period is 6 to 7 months. In East Africa, young impalas are born all year round, but birth peaks usually coincide with the rains. The young are suckled for 4 to 6 months. The males will not be mature enough to hold a territory until they're 5 or 6 years old. Impala have a lifespan of 12 years.
This is NTV. Today, we are in the green rolling hills of eastern Uganda, inhabited by the Bamasaba. The Bamasaba are a Bantu tribe inhabiting the eastern Ugandan districts of Sironko, Manafwa, Manjia and Mbale. Closely related to the Bukusu of western Kenya, they are mainly agricultural people. The origins of the Bamasaba is not known, but oral traditions carried over generations points at Egypt as the traditional homeland.
but this could be the similar epicenter where other migrations from the lower Nile and northwestern Ethiopia took place approximately 900 AD. The current Babukusu of Western Kenya are believed to have migrated from the Bamasaba and Bubulo in current Manafa district. The term Bamasaba is sometimes used interchangeably with the term Bagisu, even though the latter is actually a subgroup of the main Bamasaba group and were the first settlers on Mountain Elgon's western and southwestern slopes. Today, we are going to witness an old-age famous tradition of the Bamasaba, male circumcision. The ritual, which is long and complex, is popularly known as Imbalu. These circumcision ceremonies are held every even year in a 3-day ceremony of dancing and feasting preceding a couple of months' preparations. The initiates are admitted into their formal contribution to the growth of their respective communities. But how, when and why did Imbalu start and who started it? There's some theories explaining the origin and history of Imbalu.
Imbalu ya mwambu ni nabafu. Ganiana nika. Niyensi bali hukana babolele ganiana nika. Ganina ni yani nikano yani yakumwaka 18 gumu. Okula shere. Kushikala basinde kucha mumwe. Era ifefenga wao halo mwana ta kufa wao mwambu niye wana nihembalu gana nihembalu ayiro muhano murwa mweko ni omulanga bali nabarwa niye wana nihena embalwana osanga na ayiro muhana yoyo wamulomari wambilire nefewe ubuzwayo kwinjira nengo wambiye nawo ninjire embalu nyombi ngakwingira ta sese inkwaliya kwiwe mwambu mwana omutinita gano omuntu wenjira embalu ngana siningira nekusala abana babe nebusa bafa bawa kale mu shimi bashefe shafukirira lwo okana nabi mu kelama wewe wenjira kumusamba kwebarwa bakurera mungu mu gana kurera mungu mu paha kusala abana bahale embalu bakashirera bamandu besi abama mushikuka sha mwambu binjire embalu bakashirera kale niwo bamasaba niye isimbalu yanamikano niyo yakenda mu bamasaba bosi.
From 1801 to 1917, Imbalu used to take place in odd years. This fact changed in 1920 when 2 years were skipped, 1918 and 1919, and the rituals were conducted in even years in the months of July to December. That too is about to change because during these months, children escape from school to enjoy the ceremonies and festivities. During this time, they are exposed to sexual exploitation, the whole process ending into teenage pregnancies and ultimately a high dropout rate in schools, especially of girls.
The choice of who has got to be circumcised depends on the following. The novice, referred to as Omusinde, may express his interest to be circumcised. The father of the novice may nominate him for circumcision whether he wants to be circumcised or not, or a decision may be made by the elders to have him circumcised. The Council of Elders is comprised of different clans, and these passes the final number of boys that are to be circumcised. When the final number of novices has been selected and agreed upon, their parents are allotted such that they can start preparing for the celebrations and festivities.
Lwekuba kijira bafukiriza kikuka shefu kwingira empalu lwekuba kisoni shefu ekimirwa shefu ekyo kyanywawo kwingira mu mamasaba bosi kijira biza obusana wa mwambu babone abana ba mwambu nga nibingira empalu kijira bizana bamasaba bosi era bamani mu Kenya bezana okwingisa bale bawe abanywa okwingira empalu.
They prepare the dress code for the novice, which includes bells and a skin of a colobus monkey. A ritual is performed at the novice's home, which is the first step into initiation. They prepare roasted chicken and roasted bananas. After this small ritual at home, the boy is stripped and given the traditional attire for Imbalu. After this ceremony, the novice or Omusinde starts dancing around the village in preparation for the actual circumcision. He may be alone or in groups of boys from different families. The candidates are accompanied by their sisters, mothers, as well as well-wishers on the dance tour around the villages. The common dance performed is a famous kadodi. The accompanying relatives are also smeared with malwa for distinction. This dancing around the villages used to take place over 6 months, but this has changed. Due to the rapid growth of the economy and Uganda's education calendar, it has been cut down to only a few months, and the time of the day changed to evenings. The novices take the evening off schoolwork and engage in the dancing. The dancing, referred to as Isonja in Lumasaba, is a drill but from community members. Circumcision draw closer, the novices are smeared with yeast. They continue dancing. The yeast is an indicator that the novice is left with 2 or 3 days to the last ritual before circumcision.
Sisindisyo sirebwa khukana khumanyisya andu umwana wase wakanile mbalu ali khumbalu nenga so wakanile mbalu tasakhibwa khuwakhibwa kamamirako wakenda mubali betu.
On the last day, various clans converge at a common ground where shrines called Mulusha have been built. The gathering is a sign of unity, demonstrating to the youth about to be circumcised that they are one and must live as brothers.
Ama mutsu munyo bamukhala we makhulushako yo bamukhala kijana fwe abanana babana bewe babitsukuru bewe.
There are several stopovers before their final destination at the top of the hill. At every stopping point, there's a lot of singing, dancing and brandishing of sticks. The older youth and men who have experienced circumcision keep saying to the novices, "Ugume, ugume," meaning be firm, be firm.
Fue kutienda kwa makale imparugu mogum. Otiparina imparita. Akabunani. Bakara buto. Utafune udani. No bayada. Bana wangu batu. Ukanyuka da. Ukukobole poluna mazi. Kuminyodo ukukobole polo. Wabone mada yako some. Ukukobole polo. Ali mzee.
At the final shrine, the shrine were and leak sambushara from the palm of the leader of the elders. The boys are then blessed by the elders who spit malwa on their chests.
Magino givere migumu agenda aje wanonga ategede nti ali mugumu
ate no mukoro guli na manyi mangi mulimu abawala abatazaala
ne bazaala nabo mulimu abalenzi nabo abalenzi nabo bwe batyo
kulaba bakyalanga nabo bazine
nabo bakaya atenga buli muntu ayagala
bamufuyeko
kakati waliwo kyendabye ndabye nga mutadde wansi obusuwa naye amaloga ne gagezaako okuyiika lwaki
kati amalwago okuyiika kati tuyise bano abo bona abali wano abafwa bona ntitubakuŋŋaanya ne bajja mu nsi omwo kati amalwago betejja mu ne togera ebigambo ne galinya ne gayiika wansi
kyamugisa okuyiika wansi kiki lwaki gayiika
bagakutte kati nabo bali musanyu nabali mukunywa kati bali musanyu basanyuka gayiika Kati nabo bali kunywa.
This practice can only be done by men who are father to a boy child. This symbolizes that the ritual will go on well and that the ancestors are pleased to join them in the festivities.
Okugwedanga abakulu bali abajjaja abatuzaala bakolanga bwe batyo n'okutuusa nakati naffe ndio tugusangawo si kwe gusooka gulinga ogwabadde mudodo. Enkya kati oba oyagala tuleka ate tuve wano ate tugenda olabe wali ku mugga.
Ki ekikolebwa ku mugga?
The following day, the novices are taken down to a stream of water for cleansing before circumcision. The procession, including their relatives, proceeds to the sacred hearts. After this ritual, the novices disperse into smaller groups to their maternal homes. When the novice is finally ready in full costume, he is brought to be smeared with the chime and more yeast. The leader of the elders mixes the chime and smears it onto the novice's chest, arms, legs and back. When the elders have performed this duty, the novices are summoned to jump up and down. The elders have words of encouragement for the novices. Be firm, be firm. Give it a firm stomach, be strong. The novice is then told to shake off and sing a song. This is usually at the courtyard where he is going to be circumcised. All the candidates are given positions. Usually the oldest of the batch is the first one to face the knife. There's a lot of tension and anxiety just before the operation takes place. The novice then braces himself and makes his way to the circumcision spot. The circumciser or omucheri is told to be ready for him. And the novice pushes through the crowd to the spot where only close relatives are standing to ensure that the operation goes on smoothly. He must be strong and is not expected to scream or flinch during the circumcision. He will be disgraced. It is of great importance for the candidate to stand strong during the circumcision to show that he is capable and ready to become a man. The novice stands firm and the assistant circumciser prepares him and thereafter invites a senior circumciser who quickly cuts off the first skin. The relatives standing close to him shout words of relief to the adult in the making. There you are, you have been spoiled. What follows after this varies from one county to another. In North Bufumbo, later trimmed. The same may also be done in the central or south at one's choice. Finally, the elder takes a close look at the umufulu, or the newly circumcised, before he is covered and made to sit down. If a man, even an elderly one, does not go through this ceremony, he will never be referred to as a man, and he will never earn the respect of the community. Ostensibly, he will actually be cursed until the spirits force him to perform this ceremony.
Eyoyo bamukolimira mukika. Bamukolimira. Wadenga afira mulambo gwe bakalako.
The initiates are thus admitted into adulthood after this ceremony and are expected to begin their formal contribution to the growth of their respective communities. That's it for this edition.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
Shanghai, China by becoming a long-reach distributor. Simply dial 0705 222 111. There are 100 slots to be won, so hurry and be one of the lucky ones. The more you sell, the higher your chances. Terms and conditions apply.
You have a headache? So why is the problem in your stomach? Because some tablets can just sit there for up to an hour. New Panadol Advanced tablets with Optizorb are a smart choice. They don't just sit there, they do something. They disperse up to 5 times faster than ordinary paracetamol. And they're easy on your stomach. Why should a pain reliever sit in your stomach when it can stand up to your headache? New Panadol Advanced with Optizorb, a smart choice.
Reckless and dangerous. Did he lose his license yet? Oh no, because they don't charge him, because the cops worship him. Because I saved some of their lives. Oh, Derek got arrested again. Reckless and dangerous. Did he lose his license yet? Oh no, because they don't charge him, because...
Pause, record, rewind, fast forward and slow-mo live TV with HD PVR. Exclusive to DSTV. So much more.
Ice, ice, baby. Alright, stop, collaborate and listen. I sit back. Oh, give me hope, Joanna, give me hope, Joanna, give me hope, Joanna, for the morning come, give me hope. With different colors, one people, different colors, one people.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to...
Nasinzia nikikuwaza, nasinzia nikikuwaza, miaka rudi miaka nenda, nasinzia nikikuwaza.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
We support the work that has been done on the Public Order Management Bill.
Given the green light,
the European Union endorses the controversial Public Order Management Bill. First of all, would like to apologize for being a little late due to some technicalities that we are currently working on. Thank you so much for your patience.
All right, tonight the Public Order Management Bill gets the nod of the Western governments after a report of the Parliamentary Committee.
We'll tell you who and what else they had to say about the controversial bill.
We'll also be seeking your thoughts on this endorsement in our interactive segment, NTV Poll, so be sure to have your say.
A very good evening to you all. It's Monday evening, the 21st of May 2012, and a warm welcome to this edition of NTV. Tonight, let's have a look at the rest of the headlines.
Running battles in Nakasero market as police stop opposition leaders from addressing the crowd.
Also tonight, the unending IALA debate, NRM votes members as opposition boycotts exercise.
And the question of oil revenue sharing, Bunyoro Kingdom demands 12% share.
Thank you for joining us. I am Gabriel Epeno.
And I am Rachel Arinitwe. First, tonight, the Kampala District Land Board has halted a move by Kampala Capital City Authority to lease out 15 plots to the city developers over gross irregularities.
Now, the chairman, Kampala District Land Board, Yusuf Nsibambi, told journalists that the board was under a lot of pressure from senior officials at KCCA to give away about 2,000 city properties to developers.
Now, the Land Board has also directed KCCA to refund the 4.5 billion shillings collected as dues from the traders to allow them develop their market.
The chairman of Kampala District Land Board, Yusuf Nsibambi, told journalists that a list of 15 properties have been drawn by KCCA with instructions to regularize them for allocation to private developers, a move the board has rejected.
But when KCCA came in as the administrators of the city, they thought they are going to control the board. On numerous occasions, we have a list which we have given out of 15 properties, which they insisted we should re-enter and allocate to different people. And we said no. One of the properties is that property near Uganda Railways. Another is the property behind Steers, in the corner where there's a transformer. We have also properties in Kololo and in Tinda, where we have letters duly signed by the executive director that we should allocate this, which we thought that was a breach of the constitution.
Nsibambi also directed the Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago and the Central Division Mayor to organize the vendors in Owino Market to allow them develop the market as opposed to giving it out to KCCA.
She's also saying consistently that she's not a district, she's an authority. So she cannot also manage the market. We are going to give this market to the vendors. They may not call it a market, they may call it a mall or whichever, as long as they sell items there. And we are meeting them this week with a view of identifying a group acceptable to the local leadership.
Meanwhile, there was a standoff at the Old Park and Copper Complex taxi parks as commuter drivers turned away KCCA revenue collectors who had camped at the parks to collect the monthly charges. Each taxi is supposed to pay a monthly tax of 120,000 shillings, but for the last 2 months, the dues have not been collected. The drivers contest the fees charged by KCCA. They want court to first pronounce itself on the matter.
Filed a case against that money. After the court have received our case, they accepted us. They accepted our case. So on 17th of May, Madam Musisi received this court hearing. The court hearing is going to be on 21st June. So let Musisi be granted by the court, so that if the court rules out in the favor of the KCCA, we shall pay that tax. If the KCCA rules in our favor, we are not going to pay that money. And she has to pay back the money she has forced us to what? To pay. The reaction of today, it was because these KCCA guys have come and broke our gates. That's why we've come just to chase away from here. But for us, we want to pay, but we want to pay in order.
Mustafa Mayambala, one of the leaders of the taxi drivers, has been arrested and sent to Luzira prison under unclear charges.
The European Union mission in Uganda has today endorsed the amendments in the controversial Public Order Management Bill that was tabled in Parliament in 2011. This follows a new report that was released last month by the Parliamentary Legal Affairs Committee that highlighted amendments in the bill that is now back in Parliament for debate and approval. Craig Kadoda reports.
A new bill which sought out to outlaw the use of megaphones, loudspeakers and public address apparatus, except with written permission of the Inspector General of Police or unauthorized officers, was tabled before Parliament in October last year. The Public Order Management Bill 2011 described public places as places that are declared gazetted, stating that it was unlawful for any person to convene a public meeting at which more than 25 persons will be present unless a permit has been obtained by the organizer. The European Union, that has since received and studied the report of the amended bill, are now comfortable that it can work in its current state.
Well, the report suggests certain amendments that will regulate the authority of the police in guiding a demonstration.
This came after the bill proposed that a meeting of 3 or more persons in a public place or a place declared as so by a police officer is a public place, which seemed to have handed a lot of power to the police, that are the authorities of public gathering, and oversee the management of the gatherings. Now, the European Union, which was not consulted by government in the amendment process, has since given a go-ahead to the report because it does not infringe on anyone's fundamental rights.
We are all in favor that the approach, the regulatory approach to public demonstration must be part of the law, which clarifies roles and responsibilities. And that's why we support the work that has been done.
However, the mission is not going to influence or alter anything in the decision-making process because it maintains the rights to expression and public order, which is in line with the Constitution.
This is up to them. It's an internal matter. I'm talking about it because it has a bearing on the relationship that we have.
The bill was tabled by James Baba, the State Minister for Internal Affairs, who said it is aimed at prescribing measures for safeguarding public order without compromising the principles of democracy, freedom of association and freedom of speech. Speaker Rebecca Kadaga committed the bill to the Committee of Public Service and Local Government for scrutiny. Craig Kadoda, NTV.
Thank you, Craig. Well, it's from that story that we engage you tonight in our NTV poll, and would like to hear from you on this issue. And so we are asking, do you support the decision by the EU to endorse the Public Order Management Bill? That question again, do you support the decision by the EU to endorse the Public Order Management Bill?
Text yes or no followed by your comment or contribution to 8778. Please do include your name and where you are contributing from. We shall be reading some of them during tonight's newscast and some more at the tail end of the bulletin. Next tonight, chaos erupted in downtown Kampala this afternoon after the Forum for Democratic Change leader, Dr. Kizza Besigye, and a number of prominent opposition members toured Nakasero Market to have lunch and later on attempted to address a crowd that had gathered. The police called off the rally, prompting the locals to turn rowdy, leading to the police firing tear gas to disperse them. There were enraged traders and opposition supporters. Police say over 60 officers were injured in the fracas and have warned the opposition members to desist from performing acts which they called unlawful.
The opposition members, led by FDC President Dr. Kizza Besigye and the KCCA Lord Mayor Arius Lukwago, were given a hero's welcome at Nakasero Market, where they went to have lunch. After the lunch, the leaders chose to address the gathering that had grown around the market. The police prohibited the leaders from doing so, prompting some angry traders to confront the police. The road was then blocked and tear gas fired in the air to disperse the enraged traders. Violent clashes then ensued as the traders threw stones and whatever objects they could lay their hands on at the police. Dr. Besige and his colleagues later drove off to the City Hall offices from where they addressed journalists.
We came with our public address system and we were trying to talk to these people to bid farewell after having a meal. And it's bad, it would be bad manners on our part. After eating, we just vanish. And for heaven's sake, why would we just go without talking to the people?
What we who are opposing that are determined to remain in contact with the ordinary people, to encourage them, to organize them.
The police say a number of their officers were injured in the chaos and have warned the opposition members from engaging in such illegal acts.
Over 6 people have sustained the injuries, including the commanders. I've not yet got a report of a civilian who has sustained an injury.
The FDC leader and the Lord Mayor have time and again embarked on visits to markets in downtown Kampala where they have their lunch and later address gatherings that end up turning chaotic. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.
The NRM party has today continued with its campaigns and elections of candidates of the East African Legislative Assembly. 25 candidates were nominated to campaign and be voted in the NRM caucus, and 6 would be selected. However, the opposition has decided to go ahead to seek redress from the East African Court of Justice, having boycotted the elections after the contentious Article 50 in the treaty. Maurice Ochol has that report.
The NRM caucus today convened at the Parliamentary Conference Hall to select some of their members to represent in the East African Legislative Assembly.
The opposition takes 2 seats, independents take 1 seat, and the other takes 6.
But as the meeting went on, one of the contentious issues regarding Lydia Wanyoto, a former Yala representative who wanted to stand for the 3rd term, made the caucus adjourn to seek legal interpretation. After 3 hours, the caucus resolved that Lydia Wanyoto could not stand again.
Because as you know all, I was not nominated yesterday, but the party has taken up the matter, and I'm very grateful that they've been able to listen to me, because Dr. Mshaza did not want to listen to me.
A number of candidates then presented their manifestos before the caucus.
All our time, our energy, and our mind to vote a person of a serious nature.
Meanwhile, the opposition has decided to seek legal redress at the East African Court of Justice over the move by the NRM to take 6 of the 9 seats.
This morning we are doing our paperwork, and tomorrow we will have a submission. So they can go on with what they think they are doing internally. But the process is going to stop until our contention is addressed.
The opposition can go to court if they wish. Nobody stops them. But it is very important that they nominate candidates, because if they do not, we are going to vote, and we can only vote for those candidates who have been nominated. It is from that list that the voting will take place.
The preempting the whole exercise and the threatening with court action is something which should have come at the end.
But this hasn't stopped some of the opposition candidates from moving forward with their campaigns.
As opposition boycotted election in parliament, but we are going to have our internal politics and have a person elected tentatively by Thursday.
Today and tomorrow is simply nominations, so it's not yet over.
On the 30th of this month is when the House is scheduled to vote for the 9 Yala members, but this will depend on the ruling if the opposition really goes ahead with their mission of court. Maurice Ochol, NTV, Parliament.
In other news, yet another policeman loses his life after being stabbed while in the line of duty. Simon Peter Adone met his death in an apparent arrest gone awry. This and the nabbing of a German conman make up our Crime Watch report tonight.
Simon Peter Adone had come to effect the arrest of Dennis Sebadano, a wanted criminal who lived in this room located in a residential area in Kanyanya off Gaza Road. Little did he know it would be his last duty call. Residents say by the time Adano and his colleague arrived here at 6 this morning, there was a scuffle between Sebadano, his lover, and her husband who had clandestinely trailed his promiscuous wife up to the suspect's room.
Our police officer, who had formerly gone for arrest, was stabbed to death by a suspect. Two officers, one Adone, Simon Peter, and his colleague called the Constable Morien, had gone to effect an arrest, but at around 6 a.m.
As he escaped apprehension, Sebadano stabbed Adone in the chest, killing him instantly, while his colleague and the husband to the suspect's lover were injured. Sebadano, who is now on the run, is wanted for a string of other crimes, with murder being the latest addition.
Meanwhile, police have arrested 5 men, including a German national, for allegedly selling fake precious metals to unsuspecting buyers. Manfred Walter Bachmann is said to be the head of the group that has for a while now been conning members of the public of millions of shillings under the guise of selling minerals to them.
They bring you the mineral, and those mineral, they also introduce whom they call an expert in the minerals, who helps you to actually confirm that the minerals are actually real. We have been getting reports of a white involved. We believe is the guy.
They were nabbed after a month. They had conned of 82 million shillings reported to police, which then mounted a manhunt for them. On searching Bachmann's house in Bunga, a Kampala suburb, police found he had 5 different passports, 50 local and international SIM cards, and 10 mobile phones. The group will be taken to court and charged with obtaining money by false pretense. Oh, we're now going to take a short break. There's still so much more ahead on NTV tonight, including alcohol and drug abuse blamed for increase in mental health cases in Uganda.
And in Living Life tonight, the joys and pains of a meat roaster.
NTV Tonight continues after this break. Do stay tuned.
This is NTV. 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 NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Well, to have your say, text yes or no followed by your comment or contribution to 8778, and we shall be reading them just after I give you the tentative poll result, which stands at 40% of our respondents saying yes so far, while 60% of you say no.
All right, here's some of your comments. Emmanuel from Kitgum, this is La PM Emmanuel saying yes, because without such regulatory laws, some unpatriotic Ugandans are taking our nation to a dark end.
Well, Mpede Yona, you are very cross here. You say, and who are they, or you ask, and who are they to start endorsing our issues? Have we ever endorsed theirs? You say no. Let them focus on issues in their backyard, which include poor economic times.
All right, we do welcome some more of your opinions, so text them to 8778, and don't forget to let us know where you're texting in from as well as your name.
Exactly. Moving on now, the body of Uganda's veteran politician Cuthbert Obango today lay in state at Parliament building in a special sitting held in honor of the achievements he made as a former legislator and Justice Minister in the Milton Obote regime. President Museveni and a host of legislators graced the occasion and paid glowing tribute to Obango, describing him as a principled and nationalistic man. Cuthbert Obango passed away on Saturday at Magoro village at the age of 92 after succumbing to advanced prostate cancer. He will be accorded an official burial by the government on Wednesday at his ancestral home in Magoro Katakwi district.
The first person to sit me down when I was elected the first time and tell me the principles of politics was him.
He was a very principled man. One time they were in Parliament here. He was a minister. He said something which Obote did not like. And then Obote shouted, "Why don't you cross the floor and go on the other side?" And then he crossed the floor. Then.
Now, 2 out of every 10 patients with mental illness admitted at Butabika National Referral Mental Health Hospital are alcoholics and drug addicts. Medical experts at the National Psychiatric Center also revealed that stress and anxiety are also on the rise. In what has been dubbed Open Day with the theme Mental Health, a concern for all, a prerequisite for development, this week the hospital is opening the institute to the public and sensitizing them about mental health.
According to mental health experts, there is one good thing about stress, known as stress response, a body's way of protecting you. In emergency situations, it can give you extra strength to defend yourself. However, beyond a certain point, it stops being helpful and relapses, makes you moody, less productive, and worse, you get used to it and it becomes ignorable. In Uganda, stress has become a concern.
Stresses and anxiety, they seem to be on the rise.
Also, 15 out of every 100 patients at the Mental Health Institute Butabika are admitted over alcohol and drug abuse. Most of the abusers, it is said, are jobless, redundant and teenagers.
With either this petrol or aviation fuel or other groups, sometimes, and this alcohol is secondary. Somebody has either HIV, begin to take too much, and eventually it will also die. Or somebody has a depression, he can't sleep, he thinks by taking 1 or 2, I can rest. Eventually also it affects one's brain.
Other causes of mental illness in Uganda are epilepsy, a convulsion disorder affecting the brain in 5 of every 100 children below 15 years. Measles, malaria and pneumonia, if neglected, are also causing mental problems. HIV is, however, still the main stress factor. Florence Nalimba, NTV.
Now, his first salary while working as a chef at the Chadondo Rugby Club here in Kampala was only 170,000 shillings. But after 4 years, he had saved $500,000 shillings, something very few people would have done considering the relatively small remuneration. But Michael Oriem now operates a barbecue business just a few meters away from his former workplace and has never looked back since. He started 11 years ago. Sudhir Byaruhanga now brings us the life of 36-year-old meat roaster and also a survivor of the July 11th bomb blast at Chadondo Rugby Club.
It's shopping time and Michael Oriem is rushing to the grocery store to buy chicken, pork, beef, sausages and spices for his barbecue business. The senior one dropout who hails from Paida district has 4 children to fend for and he must work considerably hard. Michael spends close to 100,000 shillings on spices to flavor his chicken, beef and pork chops. He says the spices take 2 weeks before he buys more. Upon his return from the supermarket, Oriem finds his meat supplier waiting for him. Out of the 50 kilograms of pork that Michael buys regularly, he only remains with 30 kilograms of lean meat. He says the extra 20 kilograms of fat is melted for home cooking. The 36-year-old father of 4 employs 5 workers and are all his next of kin. Michael's trick is to keep the resources within the family. From a humble beginning of just 1 charcoal stove, he now boasts of 4 stoves. Michael says that demand from the evening revelers at the Chadondo Rugby Club is high, and 4 stoves meets it. It's evening time now, a time when many people normally pass by after a long hard day's work to relax as they munch pork, chicken and sausages. With 11 years experience, the aroma that fills the air at the rugby club tells Michael's art of grilling meat. Each stick of pork costs 2,000 shillings mainly from Monday to Thursday. On Friday and Saturday, a stick goes for 2,500 shillings due to high customer turn-up, just like on days when there is a rugby game. Michael's greatest disappointment is the recurrent blackouts and indebted customers.
It's really hard because we don't know their faces. Some of them who comes like on a busy day, all of a sudden you find someone has gone without paying.
Despite this challenge, he has to pay 250,000 as rent for this place and 100,000 shillings for his home rent in Naguru.
Oriem began his business with the capital of 500,000 shillings, which he had painstakingly saved from his first job when he was working as a chef from the same place. But the business has since expanded and he now saves close to 1 million shillings every month.
I decided to put a fixed deposit account. So when I put it there, I don't go and withdraw time after time.
In a span of about 7 years, Oriem built a house in Jinja worth 60 million shillings, but is now saving to buy land here in Kampala.
That I can put some structure.
Oriem is one of the survivors of the July 11th terror attacks that claimed over 70 lives. The 2 bombs went off from near where he was standing.
Because when I fall down, I came up and I found there's nothing on my body, so I knew now I'm a survivor.
On busy days like over the weekends, Michael retires at 3:30 a.m. after paying his workers 10,000 shillings each.
The guys who bombed this place tried to chase us away, but we are still here.
With his wife Fatuma and children, this 1-bedroom house built under the high-voltage electric cables is what they call home.
I would like to stay in a better home than this. Places like Gayaza, like if I can build my own house of 4 bedrooms.
For the hard-working son of Paida, he rests until midday the next day when he resumes work. But his lesson to the rest of the public, self-employment is the way to go in order to achieve big things. Sudil Biarhanga, NTV.
Now we're going to take a very short break, but before we do that, Joel Kamadi is joining us for NTV Business. Joel.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Gabriel. Just before we go into business, I will tell you I've been to Michael's place.
Yes.
And there's something about his meat that just keeps you going
back.
It's amazing, I must say. I've tasted it before. Michael has been at this trade for a very long time. Yeah. Very tasty pork chops and chicken and everything. He actually began at Kampala Rugby Club back in the year. Very tasty.
And I can tell you the best day to go there is a Saturday during a rugby game.
Well, I will try that sometime.
Tonight in business, East African economies need to work together and sync their economic reforms to be able to tap into the region's trade potential, estimated at $73 billion. I will be telling you more on this in NTV Business up next.
You cannot be a party, even if you are a majority or the strongest in the equation. At least you listen to the concerns of the others and then suggest a way forward. You just don't think everything is going to be solved by numbers. So this is embarrassing the country.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
Good evening, I'm Joel Kamadi and welcome to NTV Business. Tonight, East African economies need to work together and sync their economic reforms to be able to tap into the region's trade potential, estimated at $73 billion. David Bridgman, World Bank's regional manager on investment climate, made the remarks in Kigali at the end of the 4th Network of Reformers meeting that seeks to expand country peer learning on doing business. Reynald John has the details.
Regional economic groupings such as the EAC, SADC, COMESA and ECOWAS, among others, will not achieve much unless member states refocus on expediting reforms uniformly that will ensure tangible growth, according to the World Bank.
And we've looked at which countries have made the most reforms over the last 5 years. And right now in sub-Saharan Africa, the 49 countries in sub-Saharan Africa, 18 countries are among the top 40 reformers in the world. So nearly half of the top 40 reformers, not last year, but over the last 5 years, are in sub-Saharan Africa. And this sort of peer-to-peer learning event is a very important part of that.
David Bridgman, the regional manager in charge of Investment Climate Department for Africa, was speaking in Rwandan capital Kigali at the 4th Network of Reformers meeting convened by the International Finance Corporation, the World Bank's private sector lending arm.
And we have come up with a roadmap where we have had our targets in doing away with the challenges that we are facing that are making doing business costly in Tanzania. And because Tanzania is geographically, strategically placed, we are saving 5 landlocked countries, including Uganda. So whatever is not doing well in Tanzania does affect the other 5 countries.
Among others, this meeting in Kigali sought to shore up peer-to-peer learning, particularly around improving the regulatory quality and effectiveness on ease of doing business.
We are now going into public-private partnerships. But in order for us to do that, maybe we have to know how Zambia has done it, how South Africa has done it, how Rwanda has done it. So the call for this network of reformers, peer-to-peer exchange of these experiences. When you did this, what happened?
And as Rwanda herself, a periodically top reformer on improving business climate, dances away to accolades, it's also the government's admission there that more work remains to be done to partake of an immediate $73 billion business within the East African community and beyond.
We still have a number of reforms to implement and improve really our legal framework. I have mentioned a few of them during my first intervention, but there are other indicators as well. For example, Rwanda is ranked below 50. I think for all such kind of indicators, we still have to work hard to improve.
Although Rwanda has been successful in promoting ease of doing business, they are in agreement that elevating much of their SMEs into the formal sector remains a challenge. Reina Ogen, NTV Business, Kigali, Rwanda.
Now, the HIV and AIDS epidemic remains a major threat to the country's productivity, with rural areas today facing the full thrust of the impact. At the just concluded meeting of regional mayors in Kampala, participants noted that the disease has mainly affected the young and productive portion of the regional population, rendering it less productive. While the social cost of HIV and AIDS has been emphasized in most interventions, the economic cost of the scourge is rarely mentioned or even enumerated. According to stakeholders, this cost is enormous, and one of the hard-hit sectors is agriculture, considering that the country's youthful population, deemed to be driving the sector, is also the most affected by the disease.
The impact certainly is there. You have weak, sick persons, bedridden. They are heads of families. How do they fend for families if they cannot go to the garden and produce? So families are suffering food insecurity.
In order to effectively cap the problem, experts are calling for the participation of local authorities as opposed to solely depending on donor support, which may sometimes not reflect the economic woes generated by the disease. This emerged at the just concluded familiarization tour of the country by Tanzanian mayors, organized by the Alliance of Mayors and Municipal Leaders on HIV and AIDS in Africa.
HIV/AIDS cannot be defeated from external sources. I think we need to, that's the bottom line. If we are to succeed with HIV/AIDS, we must have own programs, we must have own resources. And therefore, one actual of the objectives I talked about, resource mobilization, we look at both external and internal resource mobilization, and we are putting more emphasis.
Now, in the financial markets, there was lukewarm performance at the Bourse, which also marked the shed in value at most counters. We have more in the financial market report. Finally, in business, despite the fact that banks grew by 70% last year, players are anticipating a tough year ahead. This, according to industry players, is attributed to the tough economic environment marked by double-digit inflation, a weak currency, and the general lukewarm demand for key banking services.
It is surely a very challenging year because the economy is really very tight, liquidity is very tight, interest rates are very high, and the businesses are not running with the full speed that they were running some time back. So surely there's some slowdown. We expect the credit rating also to deteriorate to a certain extent, but with good asset quality management, we should not be having any problems.
Speaking at the opening of the Chambogo University branch, the managing director, Crane Bank, A.R. Kalan, said that part of their strategy is now to bring on board fresh account holders, such as students, as they seek to undo the impact of the slowing market.
It is very clear that once you have an account from the early ages, you continue to carry that account even when you graduate out of the university and start your own business. So this is not something that we are only looking for today. We are looking to sow in the seeds for the future.
And that winds up NTV Business for tonight. Back to you, Gabriel and Rachel.
All right, thank you very much, Joel. Now, coming up in a short while is NTV Sport. I'll be bringing you all the details right after the break.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.
Good evening and welcome to NTV Sport. Now, action in the Uganda Super League returns tomorrow at 7 different stadia as the league approaches its end. Relegation-bound Hoima Busia hosts Uganda prison side Maroon Football Club at Bugembe as Firemasters take on from Kampala City Council at Kavumba grounds. Former champions Bunamwaya return to Buikwe against Masaka Local Council Football Club as Bidco host Uganda Police Football Club at Njeru Technical Center. It will be another testing encounter for the defending champions Uganda Revenue Authority as they host record champion Sports Club Villa at Lugazi. Utoda and Simba will face off at Wankulukuku Stadium as victors return to Jinja to play against Proline Football Club. Now, 5 Uganda Super League players have been handed Player of the Month accolade at a function held at the Sheraton Hotel this afternoon. The awards have been pending since October last year due to interruptions in the league. Masaka's Emmanuel Lukungu, Willie Kavuma of Express FC, Maroon's George Abege, Luwaga Chizito of Bunamwaya, and 2 Villa players, Stephen Bengo and Moses Ndaula, were among the best players for the months of January, February, March and April, respectively.
This one encourages me actually to work more harder. It shows me that there is something good if I work very hard. This is yet a beginning. I set my goal before I came to play football. Now, behind achieving anything, you have to work very hard. In order for you to achieve it, you have to work very hard because you can never be awarded for doing nothing. So for me, I made sure I worked very hard. Even up now, I think I'm still fit. And now the most important thing, you always have to be disciplined.
I'm recognized and people appreciate my work, so that's what I feel like I'm happy for. I'm playing well. My team, thanks to my teammates. They like me, they know what I do best, and I hope to do better, more better in the next coming matches and maybe other matches for the team.
Uganda's long-distance star Jane Suto has qualified for the 2012 London Olympics thanks to 2 hours 42 minutes 7 seconds she ran at the Nodia Riga Marathon in Latvia last evening. The Ugandan runner finished 3rd overall in the 42-kilometer road race behind Russian winner Iraida Alexandrova. In 2nd place was Kenya's Miriam Wangari with 2 hours 41 minutes and 13 seconds over a tough course. The Latvia Marathon is one of the last qualification events for the Olympics. Suto becomes the 12th Ugandan runner to qualify for the London Olympics due in July. That's on the 27th. She returns home tomorrow to prepare for the harried source of the Nile Marathon due on 27th May in Jinja. On the international scene, there was no happy ending for Alessandro Del Piero as the 37-year-old forward brought the curtain down on an illustrious career at Juventus as they lost the Coppa Italia final. Del Piero was making his final appearance for the club as the club he has served for 19 years went down 0 to Napoli.
The Coppa Italia final was Alessandro Del Piero's final game for Juventus after 19 years of dedicated service to the Italian giants. Edinson Cavani broke the deadlock with a penalty shortly before the hour mark after Alaves had been brought down by Marco Solari. And finally, Marek Hamiński sealed the result 7 minutes from time as Napoli won their first major trophy in 22 years. It was Juve's first defeat in all competitions this season, having previously won 26 and drawn 16, while Napoli lifted the trophy for the first time since 1990. And in France, a double strike from John Utaka amid crazy scenes in Auxerre was enough to seal the French title for Montpellier as they picked up a deserved 2-1 win. After Utaka's first goal of the night had cancelled out Olivier Campos' 20th minute opener for the hosts, the action was first halted early in the second half after some home fans expressed their annoyance at their recent relegation by littering the pitch with tennis balls, tomatoes and toilet paper. Order was quickly restored, but around 20 minutes from full time, the action was halted again for several minutes after the fans reportedly released smoke bombs. Play was finally able to get underway once again, and Montpellier took the lead for good in the 76th minute when Utaka turned in the area and fired home to spark scenes of jubilation among the travelling fans.
And that winds up NTV Sport for tonight. Thanks for watching. Let's now take a look at Tuesday's weather forecast.
Well, before we have a repeat of our poll question, we'd like to go back to number 7 story on the rundown, which comes from Bunyoro, where Jingo Francis is. Bunyoro region is set to become one of the biggest beneficiaries of the oil production process after it was tipped to reap 7% of the oil production process. All
right, the 7% is contained in the Oil Revenue Management Bill, which is due to be tabled before Parliament.
But as the region awaits the revenues, the Omukama of Bunyoro is also demanding for a 12% share of the oil revenue for the kingdom.
NTV's Jingo Francis is in the oil-rich region and filed the following report.
Currently, lawmakers probing the oil sector in Bunyoro region and the Albertine Gravy to seek for views from the local community on how the sector can best utilize the resource to benefit the local community. The oil exploration in Bunyoro comes with a lot of expectations, with a view that money is going to flood in Bunyoro. It is here that they reveal that the region will benefit from a 70% cut of the oil revenue.
First of all, we are grateful to have that proposal in, but also the proposal to us seems to be a bit little, because 7, my thinking would be 10.
However, the district leaders say Bunyoro and the country is not ready for the oil production until government puts initiatives that will bring everybody on board to understand the likely effect resulting from the oil resource.
Then we need a broader outlook as a government to all sectors, because this oil thing could touch on almost every sector. The health sector, for example. We will get problems of immigrants here. We already have had trucker drivers leaping around the town in the big numbers. They carry with them some problems, as you know. So we need aggressive programs on HIV.
But as government continues its plan to exploit the resource, Bunyoro Kingdom thinks the king has been left out. The Omukama of Bunyoro, Ibamba Gutamba Iguru, this evening met the members of the probe committee and expressed his displeasure with the government and how the kingdom has been sidelined in the oil revenue beneficiaries.
If you compare the statistics of this region today, even to other regions, they always remain low. The infrastructure here is very poor. We only have not more than 50 kilometers of tarmac roads in this region.
So those wells, in fact, are on the burial sites of our famous kings. In this regard, therefore, the kingdom should benefit from the oil industry because of tampering with its burial sites.
Here you are signing an agreement with an investor, the cultural leader, who owns most of the land as a stakeholder. He doesn't know who is taking which land. It is not right. That is not Kabarega's why he died for us. Kabarega died for his people because he wanted good things for its community. So if they do not, if government does not do good for the people of Bunyoro, we will not be happy. We will go back to Kabarega.
Other than the 70% which has been promised to local governments of Hoima, Kibara among others, the king wants the government to allocate him at least 12%.
It is an accepted practice around the world that trustees are awarded
a minimum of 1/8 or 12.5% of royalties earned from natural resources.
And as Parliament continues to discuss the oil bills, the Omukama Bunyoro is demanding for share of his cake. Jingo Francis, NTV, Hoima, Bunyoro.
Thank you very much, Jingo Francis. Let's now take you back to tonight's NTV poll, and we asked you, do you support the decision by the European Union to endorse the Public Order Management Bill? The final poll result for tonight is out.
The final result is out indeed, yes. 35% of you do agree that the European Union should have a say in this matter. 35% of you. 65% of you respondents tonight are saying no.
All right, let's quickly sample some of your comments before we say goodbye. We've got someone here saying, yes, since Uganda is not an isolated island, international standards must be observed. Indeed, a city or town should be treated like markets. In my home area, as urbans are sensitive in this area of terrorists, I salute the European Union for being objective. This is coming in from Kansime Greens in Nyaboshozi.
Well, Jet Svensson, you say, why is the European Union interfering in matters of sovereign states? I say absolutely no.
All right. We've got someone here saying no as well, saying let the Western people mind their own business and leave Ugandans to decide their own internal issues without undue influence. And that's coming in from Reverend Nelly Nelson's from Lira.
Well, Shea Pasi, you say no, they are prejudiced. They do not have the moral authority to discuss such issues while things like this are going on in their own backyard.
Okay, thank you so much for all your fantastic responses to tonight's poll. And NTV poll will return tomorrow, so don't miss the chance to have your say.
I will be back later for NTV 11, so do stay tuned for that. For now, it's goodbye. I'm Gabriel Epeno.
I am Rachel Initwe. Good night.
This is NTV. 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 This is NTV.